Hey everybody, I just wanted to jump in and talk about care for our groups and also boundaries within our groups. When we are meeting with our groups, we want to be really intentional on caring for our members. And so, one of the ways that we can do that is by active listening. And active listening is when we are taking time to make sure that we understand what's being said and we're not just listening to give an answer. So, make sure as your groups are meeting, as you're talking with individuals in your group, you're taking time to really hear the members of your group. You're taking time to want to know what they're saying. You can communicate back to them what they're saying to you. That way that they feel valued and know that they are being heard and you are understanding and communicating well. Another way that we can care for our group is just in our communication altogether. So we can know communication happens when we are able to reiterate to the person that we're talking to what they're saying, and they can say, yeah, that's exactly what I meant. And so as we are meeting with our groups, as we're getting to know one another, it's always important to make sure that we are listening and communicating effectively with our group members. Another way that we can care for our group is by watching, just being observant while we're having group. So one of the goals in group is that as the host, we're able to just kind of sit back and watch group play out around us. That natural conversations and communications are happening without much prompting from us, which gives us the chance to just watch and learn and be observant to our group members. And so as you're watching, notice if someone's pulling back, notice if someone is stepping away, they're getting a little more recluse, and be intentional about reaching out. Ask how they're doing, ask what's going on, meet them maybe individually for coffee or lunch or dinner and just check in on them. These are just ways that we can be intentional, that we can show our group members that we care about them, and it will really just help the life of the group and the unity within the group. And then after group care, we have follow up. So, one of the ways that we can care for our group is the follow up. Once group is over, reaching out to each member individually, asking how they're doing. If you have a mixed group, and we'll talk about this with our boundaries as well, but if you have a co ed group, making sure that your spouse is reaching out to the same sex and you're reaching out to your same sex so that you're just creating healthy boundaries, but caring for your group in that manner as well. Follow up if there is a big life event, if there are birthday parties or sports outings or gatherings that you can be intentional to go to. That's really the goal of the group, is to create community and to have that unique space where it's impossible to stay unknown. And so in doing that, you're able to just do life together. And that's another way that you can care for your group. Writing cards, sending messages, just those small little personal touches that you can add within your group will really help to just build and strengthen your group and will really give you an upper hand in hosting your group. Your group is going to know that you care about them. There's going to be a more unique opportunity for intimacy within the group and really getting to walk through those struggles in life and celebrate the good things in life because they know that the members of the group care about each other. And so as hosts, we get that unique privilege to really facilitate and cultivate a culture of care within our group. And then the last thing I want to talk about is boundaries within your group. And boundaries are crucial to groups. They're also crucial to your personal life. And so I want to just encourage you within your groups, you don't always have to be available 24/7. You don't always have to stop what you're doing and answer a phone call immediately. You have to have a sacred time for your family. You have to have a time for yourself. And so creating boundaries within your group just helps for healthy core to your group. So if you have a group chat, we're using Rocket Chat, and within that Rocket Chat, maybe a great boundary would be after the hours of 9 o'clock, unless it's an emergency, we're not going to talk in the group, or we're not going to communicate in the morning before 9 a.m. unless there's emergency. That way we're just respecting each other's time. We're honoring boundaries. We are not overwhelming each other. Now, of course, there are going to be instances, emergencies, something huge happens, and that's not always going to be able to happen smoothly every time, but just creating a space where we are honoring each other is important in our boundaries. Also for yourself, caring for yourself in a time of group hosting, you're really pouring out. You are making yourself uniquely available to others. So make sure within that you are also having time for yourself, that you have a start time and an end time, that you are honoring the boundaries that you set within your group. If your group is going to meet for an hour and a half, be very honoring of that time together. Make sure that you start promptly and you end promptly. This just shows the individuals in your group that you care about their time. And again, that just creates a strong bond within your group. The last boundary that I want to communicate with us today is really a boundary for our married couples and our family groups. And so within these two types of groups, it's very important that while we are conversing with each other publicly in the group setting, that there are no private conversations with the opposite sex that are happening. We just want to honor marriages. We want to honor our families. And so one way that we do that is by safeguarding our marriages and our families. And so there should never be a time within those groups that opposite sex are communicating privately, either through text messages or meeting outside of that group space where everyone is together, just to make sure that we have those boundaries in place in a healthy way.